Okay, it says we are live, so we're gonna assume we are, guys. We are getting ready to show y'all how to cook some ribs. All right, we are gonna cook some spare ribs. We're gonna trim them down, and we're gonna go through the whole process so you can see us cooking them, seasoning them. We are actually doing this in conjunction with the Technological University of Cancun, so UT Cancun in Cancun, Mexico. And I have Chef Carlos. Yesterday, they had another little hurricane blow through there, and their internet was going crazy, and the servers at the school were down. That's why we got kind of a slow start yesterday, getting everybody back in there because they couldn't access their school emails, right? So, anyways, we got it all done yesterday. If y'all missed the brisket cook, it was I think it went fantastic. A lot of information, a lot of good questions in the chat. We should have people joining. Yep, we got people joining as we go. But right now, I'm going to introduce Chef Carlos Velez and let him tell you all a little bit about himself.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Here we are from two different spaces, but united together. Today we are going to have the second session, the second line on this Texas barbecue session. Yesterday we have the Chef Johnny showing us the preparation with the brisket. He did an amazing job. And today we are going to work with ribs, and also he's going to show you some preparation of fajitas on the Texas style, quite a bit different from our Mexican style. So please be attentive to it, pay attention, and any questions that you may have, please post it directly into the chat, and we are going to answer as soon as possible. Do not mind that sometimes the chef will be a little busy, so we on the chat are going to work together. Okay, so please enjoy the session.
Okay, guys. Hey, that's great, Chef. Thank you for that. And guys, what we're going to do is if you have a question, type it in all caps. That will help us see it. And if you put at Texas Style, you'll see my name pop up. If you click that, it will show that name highlighted in orange, right? So it shows up on the chat real good that way, so that we can spot it, but do it all in caps. And if we missed your question, hang on to it. I think we got most of the questions answered at the end yesterday, but if y'all have questions again for the students or anyone else that's in here from yesterday, let's get those questions in there, and we'll try to get to them. And we got people trying to watch this for us. I've got my guys in there monitoring the chat. So if you see a wrench by their name, that's the guys that are helping me out in here, and they do a wonderful job. And so what we're going to do is we're going to thank them for keeping any nonsense out of the chat that may happen in here. If we see somebody that doesn't need to be in here, tag I'm losing my mind. Tag one of the monitors. Do at and their name if you see a blue wrench by it. And what that's going to do is that's going to notify them also that something's going on. And I'm trying to see who I got a lot of Johnny Bags, Stevens in here. So I've got a lot, Smoking Joe's in here. I got some different ones in here that are monitors. So what we're going to do is if something happens, they'll take care of it and get them out. It doesn't always happen, but every once in a while, you get these silly people in here that want to put something in the chat that has no business being there. So we will take care of that. It didn't happen yesterday. So it looks like everybody's in here. We're having a good time. And I'm going to head to the kitchen now and get started. Remember, I'm doing a screen share. So the big picture you're seeing is not quite in real time. All right. It's going to be a little bit of a lag between there. But I'm going to switch the microphones now. I'm going to turn this one off. And I'm going to turn the live streaming on, so y'all make it.
It's going to be a little bit of a lag between there, but I'm going to switch the microphones now. I'm going to turn this one off, and I'm going to turn the live streaming on, so y'all may hear a double. Okay. Okay, I think we're good on this. That mic's off, and somebody can let us know if they can hear me. Okay, guys, I think it's working. Somebody
Yes,
let
we
us
can hear
know.
you.
You guys have got my phone number. Call me if you can't hear me. And we're going to get started. All right, guys. Are we ready? Oh, move that camo jacket, guys. Doesn't need to be there from that drink. Yeah. Okay, just sit it in there. Okay, guys, we're going to get the camera where we want it. Going to lift it up a little bit, guys. They're going to go up to where they want to be. We got a part of a new camera crew today. Again, it's our broadcast students are in here helping out. And so we got a new man on camera today, a new guy pulling cord. We got the same lovely lady taking pictures. You can be taking pictures again today. All right, so we've got our other class in here that we're working in conjunction with. We are at Lytle High School. My students, I've got a couple of them back. Jonathan and Nicole are back today. They're helping out a lot, so they're going to be running stuff for me and doing different things. But we are going to do spare ribs. Now, you're going to hear spare ribs. There's different cuts, and when it's a different cut of a spare rib, they're called different things. This is a full spare. It's going to have the breastbone attached. Now, you have to realize a spare rib is the part of the pig that runs from the breastbone up the side, right? That's the spare rib. The baby backs are what comes off of the vertebra coming downwards, or the loin area. Those are loin ribs or baby back ribs. The spare rib, I believe, is a much more tasty rib. You know, I tell everybody this: a spare rib is everything a baby back wishes it was, and I really believe that. Now, the baby backs are more naturally tender because of the location they're at, but your flavor, your better rib is definitely the spare ribs. This is actually a package of 4. It's the way we get them when we bring them in a case at a time. And I'm going to pull one of these out, and I'm going to show you how to trim it down to a St. Louis cut. And I'll tell you about a Kansas City cut also, so you can kind of see those. And then we're going to season these up, go get them on the pit, and do kind of like we did yesterday. And we'll bring in one, show you a wrap, show you a finished rib. We're going to do some things like that. And also, for a bonus, we're going to be doing some fajitas. So when we get out there, we put this on the fire. We're going to light the fire and get our grill going for our fajita cook. And that's really like a carne asada. Fajita is kind of it was coined here in Texas, and it's spread out where people call them fajitas now. But really, they're the asada, the skirt steak. But what we're going to do is just let's get into our ribs. And I'm not going to go through here and pick out the best one. I'm just going to take whatever ribs on top out of this package. And Jonathan, I'm going to let you and Nicole take care of the others for me. But you can see that's the full spare rib right there. Here you go. If y'all put those in the fridge. You got it? Okay. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of extra meat. We're going to clean these up. Some people, even when I do a St. Louis, I don't clean them up all the way. But you can see, we're going to get rid of this flat meat. We're going to get rid of this membrane that's right here. We're going to clean up some of this that's overhanging. You always have to watch on the saw cuts for any maybe some loose bone or something like that. But we're just going to get started here. And I'm just, like I said, I'm going to take this off for you. So let's get this skirt off there. We're going to get this big fat off, right? Got a big chunk of fat here, so we're going to get that off. That can go. We could have saved that really for sausage or something, didn't think. But, hey, we make a lot of sausage here. So charcuterie, I love charcuterie. I love sausage making. And so my kids get to do that each year in their class. But just going to pull this fat off. And also, if y'all guys want to, if you want to move the camera closer to the table to get a better zoom, we can do that also. So we get a good close-up for them in the zoom, guys. Y'all can get as close to that table as y'all need to. And I tell you what, this is a real good soft fat here. So if you got a bunch of big fat and you're saving fat for sausage and stuff, that's not a bad one to save at all. But you can see this. Got about a dozen bones in here. And what I'm going to do is this is the breastbone. It's cut right down the middle. And I'm going to come in here, take my chef's knife, and I'm just going to take this breastbone off. All right. I'm cutting through cartilage. If you see, it's not a real hard cut there because it's all in cartilage. Hey, that's good to eat. If you want to take that, throw it on the pit, cook it up, you get a lot of good meat off of that. But this is what we call a Kansas City when you've taken the breastbone off. Now, if we do a St. Louis, we're going to come in here and find the longest rib. Here's the longest. Everything else above that would be taken off, right? I'm not going to go all the way down to that bone. I'm going to leave a little bit more. Like I said, I leave my spares a little fuller than some others do. But any cutting you go through there really is cartilage. As you can see, I got 2 smokers going today, so that's going to go on the other smoker because we'll be happy to eat that. Let's see here. I got a bone. I'm going to miss that bone there. So there we go. I can live with that. I got a little bit wide here. If I wanted to, I could even that up just a little bit more. I'll take that corner off. And we'll clean that up a little bit. I'm going to take this off in the front, right? Just make it a little more even. Got my Mercer Renaissance here. Guys, and y'all culinary students out there. Mercer, I think the biggest part of their business really is the culinary school and the culinary student. But for the money, this is a $50 chef's knife. If you look, it looks like a Wusthof, and I own Wustofs. It's the same steel a Wustof's made out of, German steel. It's forged, and a Wusthof this size is $150 in their classic line. So 50 versus 100, I don't see the $100 difference in the 2 knives. But this is a Mercer. This is the Mercer Genesis. Anybody interested, you can find those down in my Amazon store. I've always got Mercer knives in there because in my knife kit, I would say 90% of my knives are Mercers in there. But this size looking pretty good. There's not a whole lot of fat on it. You could take this little piece maybe and just take a little bit off. But this actually is you know what? And boy, look at that. Skip myself. That's how sharp that knife is. Let me turn it around. It's not safe. But that's done. This piece of meat here, and a lot of people do it different ways. If it's a big chunk, a lot of times I'll take it off because it's sitting up on top of a fat cap and not necessarily real good to eat. If you're doing competition, this isn't a bad little, they're fairly straight, but your comp ribs are going to be right in there. We are not doing a comp cook today. If you want to see the way I do my competition ribs, there's a video on it. Just look for competition ribs on an ugly drum smoker or UDS. But that's not bad. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got to take this membrane off. There's a membrane that coats the inside of these ribs. It's going to keep smoke from getting on them. It's also going to keep seasoning from getting on them. And there's different ways you can do it. Some people use butter knives. An oyster knife works great. But also what I do is I come in right here and I just slide my knife under that membrane, right? Somebody grab me a paper towel real quick. And when I turn it, I turn my dull side of my blade up. That way I can get it. And that is a slippery membrane. So the best thing to grab it with is a paper towel. Get hold of it. We're going to pull here. And we didn't quite get it off in one pull. We have a little bit left there. See if I can get hold of it. All right. Got a little trash hanging here. I'm going to take that off. And look at this broken bone here. I'm just going to take this bone off. Don't want anybody to get a bone shard, and that's wanting to happen right there. Make sure there is no bone, right? That's what we want to check. We don't have any bone here. We're good. Some people like to take their ribs and put a binder on them. Usually if I'm going to use a binder, I use mustard. Put that up there. Make sure we can see that for you. Just regular yellow French's mustard is what that is. But I'm going to coat this lightly. Doesn't take a whole lot, right? You can use olive oil. People use different things, but On pork, I like mustard. I use it on my pulled pork. We're going to coat that, flip it over. A little flap here. I'm going to take that off. All right. And I see that fat right there? I'm going to take that chunk of fat off of there. Just be careful not to get down into my meat. We're all right. The thing about this pork fat is it renders really well. So you don't have a whole lot to worry about it rendering out. You render a lot of fat out of a rib, but you don't want just great big batches of it. So this is a St. Louis cut now, right? Everything's good. I'm going to use it's in a Cosmos container, but this is my all-purpose barbecue rub. The recipe is going to be in the description box, so y'all can find it. But again, when we do this, go ahead and pan out a little bit, and so they can see how high I hold the shaker off of it. I'm going to pan out a little bit, guys, and so we can get where you want to be now. Yeah. All right. And I'm just going to shake it. It spreads better if you hold it a little bit above. Now, probably not quite as heavy coat as we had on our brisket yesterday. Not as big a piece of meat, right? So, coming in here, and this is paprika. It's seasoning salt, regular salt, black pepper, garlic, mustard powder, chili powder. Whole recipes in there. You can find any of my videos that have my chicken or my pork on it, unless I'm using Cosmos, or maybe my competition one doesn't have this one on it. But this is the rub that we use all the time, and you can find a lot of my videos, but it will be in the description box on this one. So go ahead, let's give them a close up of this rib. All right, everybody got to look at that. What we're going to do now is we're going to go out and check the fire. I'm going to let these sweat. They're not going to sweat as long as they normally did, but we're going to get outside, check the fire. I'm going to move a couple of ribs around to get them in a better spot, and so I can make room for this one. And then what we're going to do is start the fire for our grilling of our fajitas. And I'm going to show you how I set that fire up. So let's head outside. Get that lid if y'all want to. Oh, yeah, you didn't close it. We can't unlock that door, so whatever you do, don't close that door. Yeah. That to cover those with that lid like you did yesterday.
Can I go to?
Yes, sir. Let me get my tongs. We got paper towels there. Got it?
Be careful.
All right, here we go. We're outside. We're going to take a look at our ribs. Well, that pit's a little bit hot. I'm going to close it down, shut it up. Are we ready to go? Okay. What I'm going to do is pop the lid. Y'all can look in here if you want to. Get that light on. Make sure they can see good. But we have one set wrapped. That's one we're fixing to pull off. I do not always wrap my ribs. Here's a set that's not wrapped. Again, if I wrap to color. When you hold a rib up, if it points straight down, that rib's ready to eat. That's the way I judge. I grab them in the middle and I see how they bend. This one's not quite ready. We're going to spritz it a little bit. I'm going to move it over to the other pit. We're going to put this rack on the gray pit. And it's ready to wrap. So we'll wrap that one in a minute. But here's the wrap one. So that one's good to go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get that raw one on here. And then we're going to wrap the other one. Let's close this back up. Let's show you how we set up our fire for our fajitas. So y'all can come over here. What I've got is I got some hardwood lump charcoal. You guys can see this. Company sent me this the other day. I've been trying it out. So far, I like it real well, but it's lumberjack. You'll find them on Facebook and advertised in different places, but it works pretty good. But we're using lump charcoal today. I'm just gonna dump a little bit in here. And I'll take my tongs. You want, if I move that, y'all might be able to see a little better light there. That help a little bit, guys? Or do we need the light over here? You good? And this is going to be the fire for our fajitas. We're going to have a nice hot fire for those. So it's ready to go. And the way I'm going to start it is, let y'all see this. This is a fire starting machine. You can use it to sear off sous vide steaks, grill gun, grillblazer.com, but they sell one that's a shorter model that's really good for searing off steaks. If you'd be watching, I'm going to have a cowboy ribeye video that I'm going to cook with this. So y'all be watching for that video. It'll be out here for too long. But it works great. So I'm just going to turn it on. It's lit. Okay. We're lighting fire right now. I'm going to let this go about maybe 15 minutes. And then we'll cover it and we'll move coals around. And I'll let y'all kind of know about the way I'm going to do the coals. All right, guys, there you go. Grill gun. Everybody's interested in one. If you go to their website, Texas Style Cuisine will get you 10% off. So grillblazer.com, the grill gun. And I'm sold on this thing. I start fires with it. Like I said, we've seared steaks off with it. And it's fun to play with if nothing else. But it works good for starting fires. We're going to let that go. And then we'll get back out here in a minute, adjust the coals. I'll show you how I do that. Now, this is all a hardwood lump. When we get ready to cook, I'm going to throw some chunks of mesquite on here and get the mesquite going. We like that mesquite flavor, especially on fajitas. And today, our fire in our UDSs, again, was about 60, 70% oak and about that 30 to 40% mesquite. We like that flavor, but we like the oak also. And it's got some of the lumberjack lump in it. And it also has some just regular charcoal briquettes in our fire basket of it. But now we can head back inside, and we're going to check on those other ribs that are in there. And I'm going to field some questions right now, see if there's any questions there I need to answer. While they're carrying these back in, getting the cameras back in there, I'm going to answer questions for y'all. All right, y'all ready to go back inside? Well, that's for the light. Okay, Elias. Do it.
There we go. Guys, I should be live here in the classroom now. We can check the comments. Let me go to my actual YouTube screen and see if I see something in here that's got me tagged in it. Got a lot of people saying hello to each other, making comments. Hey, Greg, Ballistic Barbecue. Thanks for being in here, Greg. Appreciate it. I'm gonna let you help moderate for me too, buddy, since you're here. In case people are in and out, guys, if y'all have never seen there's a lot of good channels in here. Smoking Joe, Ballistic Barbecue, Cooking with Steven just got a young channel started. He's down in the islands, Trinidad, Tobago, so he does a lot in there. Steven's telling y'all about that. I didn't see any questions that were in caps or had me tagged. See some of the different chefs saying hello, some of the students saying hello. Rocio Dominguez, good morning to you also. A lot of the students are talking in here now. Hey, make sure you do give me that thumbs up. That always helps. The interaction, comments are always good. Mad Woods in here. Thank you, guys. A lot of channels y'all can check up and watch. Spanish lesson. How do you say sausage in Spanish? Well, it's chorizo, but chorizo is also a type. So if there's another name, I don't know what it is, but
The other name in
Joe
Spanish will be salchicha. Well, actually, it depends on the type of sausage, but normally in general we will say salchichas, or the group completely. It's salchichonería.
There you go. That's what we needed right there. Here, we really, if somebody says chorizo and they're talking in Spanish, we know it's the Spanish style chorizo, which is nothing like the Mexican style and Spanish style are two totally different, right? So most people are talking about the Mexican style chorizo.
Yes, when they call chorizo, actually it sounds not only like the Mexican one, also like the Spanish one. So it's the reddish one. And what we call salchicha for sausage is actually any kind of mixed together into the how do you call it, the charcuterie.
Right. Well, we may have to do that, Chef. I may have to do
that would be
sausage
awesome.
class for y'all sometime. We do a lot of sausage. Last year we made 12 different sausages up here. The kids made they made chorizo, not Spanish but Mexican chorizo. They made 2 different kielbases. They made bratwurst. They made linguiça, which is a Portuguese sausage. We did breakfast sausages. They did a sweet Italian, a spicy Italian. So we did a lot of different sausages.
And were cooked or were smoked?
I'm just going through here looking for some questions. We did do some smoked. We did a smoked summer sausage, and we also did some wild game. We did some wild hog and some venison sausages. Some were smoked, and some were fresh sausages. A lot of the times when I do sausage, I do a fresh sausage, simply because they're going to go on the grill anyways. So they're going to get smoked eventually. And of course, you don't have to worry about your pink salt or anything like that if you're using your if you're using
now,
if you're
in
doing
the
fresh.
case of when you're working with game, do you have any recommendation for students? Because, for example, here in the region, we have a lot of hot pot. So, do you have any recommendations of handling indifference, for example, to pig?
Yeah, when I deal with wild game, one thing, especially with the hogs that I deal with, because there's so many wild hogs here in Texas, is I will actually soak them overnight in an ice water bath with apple cider vinegar. And I think that helps pull out some of the wild taste, some of the gaminess will come out of there. I do that sometimes with my deer also. But one thing, anytime we're dealing with wild game, if you're doing that, the important thing is to get it gutted and cooled down as quick as you can. I don't think it's bad to throw one in an ice chest that once you've quartered it out and let it soak in ice and water for a couple of days either, just to do that. But that's kind of the things that I try to do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right. I had somebody ask about drum smokers and the smoke that they come out. And guys, I don't know exactly how to explain that because you're right. If we were in an offset smoker situation and you're wanting that clear blue smoke, it seems like in a drum smoker, your smoke isn't that clear blue smoke. It's a little grayer smoke, maybe even to the verge of being a whitish colored smoke. But you don't seem to get that bad burn. It just, and even if you don't put wood chunks on it and you're going with charcoal, you still get that smoke. Now, it will clear out once it kind of gets at temp and starts running good, and you'll get a clearer smoke sometimes. But it just seems like in that drum smoker, you don't get the problems with taking on the bad taste that you have. Greg at Ballistic Barbecue is talking about vinegar works great on mutton also. I like a lamb. Mutton's much stronger, and I tell you what, this is another thing for your students also, Chef. The way that I deal with goat is a lot the same way I deal with my venison. I kind of treat them both the same way. They're both a leaner meat,
Yeah.
and they're a little bit stronger taste. So I work with my with my goat and my venison very much the same way. Seasoning profiles, the way I handle them, the way I may marinate them or inject them or whatever. I use my goat very much the same way.
Oh, thank you. That's a good tip. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that works pretty good. Yeah, hey, vinegar can pull the funk out. That's so we're getting some good comments in there about that. Rick's barbecues in here. Rick is great. Rick's over in Tecate, Mexico. He's from San Antonio, but he's been in Tecate for the last year.
Oh,
Tecate selling barbecue over there. I think he's coming back to San Antonio. But Rick's a good guy, great cook. You're going to be seeing him on my channel a lot because he's close to me when he gets back into town. But hey, that's all looking good. I think I'm going to head in there. We're going to look at these ribs, get those on the pit, and then we're going to look at wrapping that set of ribs that I had moved over to the other pit a while ago. So I'm going to switch cameras again. I got to minimize this screen, and we're changing our mics again.
okay. We'll follow.
Minimize this screen, and we're changing our mics again. All right, we should be good. And guys, when we come out here, we're gonna go back outside. So if you want to go ahead and start heading outside, I'm gonna get these ribs. That way y'all can get there. Give me a cutting board. Nicole, if you would, let's just clean this up right here. That meat can go in the fridge, or we could season that, put on the pit. But let's get this out of the way so that we have a clean white cutting board when I come back in to wrap. I don't even have to have a cutting board to wrap. All right, just clean that up so it's clean when I come back. All right, are we good, guys? I think what you got the bottom leg out a little bit. That's why that one's getting tall. See the bottom leg? If you're not level, here you go. If you're not level, do this real quick. Loosen that one up. Then this one will go down. Okay. How's that? Better? All right, guys. We're going to get these on. Temperature's good. They have it. You can see here. They haven't sweated out. They've sweated out some. I would really like them to sweat a little bit more. But for the time's sake today, we're not going to do it. But it's going to go on. And we're going to do this the same way that we did our brisket yesterday. We're going to scrunch them up, right? Okay. It's going to swell up the meat between the joints. It cooks, right? It's going to look like it's cooked. And so it's going to keep in that shape, but also it's harder to squeeze the moisture out if those fibers are squished together. So ribs are good. I'm going to see these and see how they're feeling. They're still a little bit stiff in here. I'm going to let these go a little bit longer wrapped. And we're going to take the other set in that are on the other pit. And here you go, Jonathan. If you want to grab that. We're going to take these in and wrap these. These are starting. You see where they're starting to pull back off the bone? But if I hold them like I was showing y'all, right there, they're not quite bending yet. So we know they still got a little ways to go. So we're going to add some moisture to them, put them in the foil. And these will be nice. Give that, sorry, because that had raw on it. All right, heading back inside, guys. Here you go. Just carry this out of here.
Go that way.
Take it there. Get rid of that. Okay, I'm gonna get up close here. Let y'all see this. These are pretty. The bark is set. If you scratch it, you can kind of see that it's set on there. It doesn't want to come off real easy. But they're looking nice. They're looking nice. Nothing wrong with them. You see where I was talking about is pulling back. And here's the other thing. If y'all guys can see this, let me get a towel. See this black right here? That's just blood coming out of those bones. So it's kind of already charred a little bit. And we're just going to take those off. It's going to get some foul taste that won't get in our wrap. And it's just going to look prettier at the end if that is not on there. Okay, so it's going to get that blood that's coming out off of them. See the blood right there? That's kind of, and it'll char quicker than the meat will. So see where I kind of just got that off? And we're not going to put that in our wrap, right? Because it's not going to give us a good flavor. Right here, see these? Okay. Again, that is the char from the blood. It's going to make a prettier rib, and it's going to be a better tasting because we haven't cooked that in with it. All right. I'm going to slide this forward. See if I can, if one of y'all would help me here, let's get some. Jonathan, help me get out some of the foil. Right here, this one right here. Pull me a big piece out. Come on, up high, up high, up high. Keep going, keep going, keep going. High, 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 high. Like that. There. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take some, you can use regular butter. This is the squeeze, so it's a margarine, but, and you'll see this in competitions. Guys, I'm not going to, people for competition, if you want to see my competition recipe, you can find it, it's on there, but all I'm putting that on there for is a little bit of moisture on those ribs. I don't want them to get too hot. I want to keep that top soft. If you were doing a comp rib or you like a real sweet, saucy rib, underneath there, you could put more seasoning. You could put more barbecue sauce. They put honey. They put brown sugar. They put all kinds of things in underneath this. And then on top of them, to really soak in that sweetness. That's not what we're doing today. This is just going to be a regular backyard rib. They're looking nice. I'm going to do a little bit on the top just for, again, moisture of the skin. Not everybody doesn't do this. This is a little bit from my competition days that I know it just helps. A little spritz for some moisture in there. Apple juice, apple cider vinegar, either one will work fine. And now we're just going to fold it over. Go in there. Okay. And I'm going to fold that. And I'm going to let this cook face side down so that the moisture coming out of them, that front will sit down in that moisture and it'll keep that bark soft. So we're going to fold this back up. Let's go get this on the pit and we'll check and see if we're ready for our fajitas. All right. Let's go ahead and get me the white cutting board. Get out that new package of fajitas, right? That hasn't been opened yet. Our marinade and all that stuff out for it. All right. Okay, we're going to come right here to the grill. Guys, just to let y'all know, I put those ribs on the gray. Oop, just lost my cord here. Hopefully the sound's still going. We're going to move our charcoal around and get ready to cook those fajitas. If you look, my lump charcoal's going pretty good. You want to give them a shot of that? You want me to move the lid or are you good? Come toward me a little bit. You want the lid gone. Got it? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this where about 2/3 of it is toward my lid. All right. Some of these aren't quite lit all the way, but I'm going to go there. And I'm going to have less heat on this side, more heat on that side. That way I have a 2-zone fire. About 2/3, 1/3 is the way I usually figure this. And some of these pieces that are just getting lit, they're going to work fine on, they'll light and keep going to get our fire up there. Fire is always a pretty picture, ain't it? You got to get, we're getting some still pictures. I don't know if y'all can see that she's in there, but doing a great job. Amethyst, is that what it was? Yes, Amethyst, what a pretty name, right? Okay, so here we go. I like that. A little more heat on this side, less heat on that side. That way we have a 2-zone fire. Put my grate in my Weber kettle. And you can do this with natural wood, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some chunks of mesquite. If could you do that for me? Just right inside the door, there's some a red bag of mesquite chunks. Just 2 or 3 small pieces of that mesquite. Got it? All right, guys, we're going to get that on there. I forgot to carry it. I've got Miss Magura, our broadcast lady, that she does that. She takes care of a lot of stuff here at the school. I've got her running errands for me. She didn't know she was being an errand girl today. Here you go. Thank you, man. Yeah, that's plenty. So we're going to put some mesquite in here just to get some flavor. All right. That's a great thing. If you have a flip grill, right, they'll flip up there. That's always wonderful. So I'm going to set this one. Let's see. I'm going to use this one. Just put it back here on the side. If it lights up, it does. If it doesn't, we're okay. All right, that's ready to go. It's been oiled already, and there's oil on our fajitas. So let's get inside, and I'll show you how we do that. All right, I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to put this on the Weber. I'm going to go about, 3/4 the way open, but we're going to want this to be about 450, maybe 500 degrees on that grate when we bring our fajitas out here. So let's get inside. I'll show you how we get those prepped and ready. And by the time we got that done, this is going to be the temperature and ready to cook some fajitas for y'all. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, guys, we got that ready. We got our, oh, I need a Ziploc form, right? Just for some 1 gallon. She knows which is one. Nicole and I did it earlier. We can wash those off because I'm going to be needing some knives in a little bit. All right, here we go. Next part of the cook. What time is it? 10:51. All right, we're rolling okay. We're doing fine. We've got some fajitas here. Now, these we picked these up at the local HEB. And what these are is skirt steak. Now, guys, I have heard a lot of people call them by different cuts of meat. You know, and today, kind of anything that's wrapped in a flour tortilla, they call, if it's meat, they call it a fajita, which is not the case. I'm gonna give you a quick story about why here in Texas they call them fajitas, and it's spread throughout with their popularity. Is up at Kendall County, Bernie, Texas, they had a fair, and this is the story I think is the most reliable one, that they were actually called fajitas. He asked to be part of the Kendall County Fair, and what he's selling, he goes, "Oh, well, I'm selling beef tacos." And they're like, "Well, we already have somebody selling beef tacos." He goes, "Well, these aren't the same. You know, these aren't corn tortillas. They're not ground meat. This is," and so they're like, "Nope, only one beef taco vendor. You can't do it." So the next year he came back and he said, "Hey, I want to sell fajitas." And they go, "What's that?" They go, "Oh, it's this great taco." They go, "Oh, well, we don't have anybody else selling fajitas. You can sell those." So that's where the term came from. And as we know in Spanish, faja means belt, right? So these are the inside skirts. If we have the outside skirt, it's much more tender and it's narrower also. So it is long and narrow, so it looks like a belt. And that's where the term fajita came from. I think that's the most reliable story I have ever heard of why they call them fajitas. But that was somewhere around 1980, because when we were in the valley and we were eating these in the 70s, they were just asada tacos, right? That was it. But they've changed the name. Now, these have been tenderized. So we're not going to clean up. Yeah, we don't have to clean up any silver skin on them. We don't have to, get a lot. There's still a little bit of fat. That's okay. It won't hurt. That's going to render off. It's going to cook up and taste good. But as you can kind of see, this would be like that, right? But the outside skirts are even narrower. They're only about 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, where this one's 6, 8, or 9 even. But that's kind of what they look like there. And this is what we're going to use to make our tacos out of. So that's good there. The first thing I'm going to do is the fajita season. Did you bring it back out? It was the one like this, but it's Boulder's Fiesta brand. She's going to get the seasoning for us real quick. Talk a little bit about our marinade. Y'all can see that. And this is orange juice, a little bit of lime juice in it, apple cider vinegar, salt, pepper, minced garlic, cumin. And you can see I've diced up some cilantro. This recipe, no, it's in a Boulder's. Let me run go get that real quick. I know right where it is. Now, when you carried it, walk off. Oh, there's the fajita. I think it's right there on the flat. What's that? Oh, okay. There, oh, and there's olive oil in there. That's the olive aspect that I told you was already in there. But what I do is, let me show y'all. This is my favorite fajita season, Boulder's Fiesta brand. The HEB, their brand is a good one also, but this is a San Antonio-based company, so it's always great to support local people. But their fajita seasoning is very good. And of course, y'all might be going, "Oh, he's making asada tacos," right? It's a carne asada. Definitely is what this is. Fajitas, I told you how we came up with that term here. but just not a heavy coating. I'm going to put a light coating on each side. And the thing about these already being tenderized, it helps because the inside skirt is not near as tender as that outside skirt. Outside skirt is, oh, so much tender. If you can find it, that is ideally what you want. It's very hard to find in a grocery store these days. I know some specialty shops that carry outside skirt, but these are going to taste good. So those are fine. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag because we're going to let these marinate. These will go 2 to 8 hours. If you want to do it overnight, nothing wrong with that at all. It's just the citrus in there and the vinegar is going to help break down this meat. That's good there. Now, the recipe is going to be in the description box for this marinade. In this, though, it does not have the lime and it does not have the cilantro on that recipe. Those are some things I just add to it, but the recipe is down there for the base recipe. And Nicole, you did this one this morning. What did we do? We did tripled it? Yeah, so Nicole made this morning. She tripled the recipe for us. I'm going to try to stir it up because it looks like some of our seasonings has salt, pepper, garlic, cumin or cominos, right, is what we call it up here. Let's dump it in on our meat. And you want to have enough that it coats the meat good. And every once in a while, you want to go back in there and you want to just toss it around, right? And I didn't think about it. I was going to save a little bit for our onions and our peppers and everything like that, and I forgot to do that. So we'll have to get a little bit of olive oil for that. Olive oil's right there. So we've got it. And we'll just use some fajita seasoning on them, and they'll be fine. But just kind of work the bag around and try to get that coated. Little question for all the culinary students. Most people think cilantro's a Mexican herb that comes from Mexico. Anybody know where it comes from? Anybody in my classroom know where cilantro comes from? It is native to what country? How about Vietnam? Classic Mexican, right, is what we think of it up here using this. Now, y'all will see culantro when you get over into the Caribbean and some of those dishes. It's similar in taste. The leaves are a little longer and thinner, but you'll hear people say culantro instead of cilantro. It's very similar, but it is a different herb. It has a little bit different flavor. But that looks good. So, Jonathan, if you would put that away for us. I do have some already marinated that we're going to do, but first I'm going to start showing you how we get our peppers and onions ready to go. Those are clean. This is dirty. If you'll take that for me, ma'am. I'm going to owe Nicole and Jonathan a lot after them running dirty dishes for me last 2 days. There you go. Next, if y'all will get me our onions and bell peppers and stuff. Guys, this is really classic way to see them served is with onions and bell peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and start up it's got a portable grill here. Start it up, let my pan start heating up. Even though this is a Teflon pan, it's non-stick. Little tip is if you get your pan hot first, then add your oil, it adds a degree of non-stickness to that pan. All right. And we've got some peppers and some onions that are going to be going in here. Got some olive oil. I think we got some orange and some yellow, don't we? Oh, yeah. Some more greens. All right. So we're going to show you this. And when I'm outside, I'm going to let the kids be heating up some more so y'all can. We can have plenty for our tacos here in a minute. But here we go. Just a little olive oil. We'll do a little more than coat the pan. You want to be able to coat your vegetables with it. We're going to let that heat up some. Turn it over something. And when we make like we're going to use pico de gallo in this, by using the red and the green and the white onion, this is what we teach teach our students and everything is we want our pico, we want our pepper stuff to look like the Mexican flag. We want the red, the white, and the green. So we want those vivid colors in there and do those things. And that's kind of what we teach them to do is do it that way. But I'm gonna take about half these onions. This is a whole, I'd say medium to large onion. So I'm just gonna drop it in. Some green and red can go in on top of those. And today we have some orange and some yellow also. So we're gonna start cooking this up. And we're going to serve this on a cast iron platter. Y'all are going to see it in a minute. We're going to heat it up. And when we put this on there, it'll be sizzling. It's going to be a very beautiful presentation. But we're going to get that going. And kind of as soon as I get these tender, we'll take these off and just set them to the side because they'll reheat on that cast iron skillet. But what I want is I want to answer some questions for y'all that y'all may have at this point of the production and see where you're at. But you can see my onions are already starting to turn translucent. And some of this oil, once we put them in the pan, it's going to drain down also. So you'll lose some of the oil on them. To give them some flavor, I'm just going to go with some of our fajita seasoning. Usually I'll save some of the marinade to put on them. Forgot to do that today. I've got some limes here somewhere. I could probably squeeze some lime if I wanted to, but we can put that on our finished taco also. But that's just going to add just a degree of flavor. I don't want these wilted all the way. What I want is I want to be able to have a little bit of bite left to them, a little bit of texture. The onions are going to be real soft. They're a little smaller. The peppers aren't going to be quite as soft, but it'll give us a little bit of texture in that taco also. But the acid will be a nice addition to this. Oh, look at there. You got that for me. She's getting an A. Getting an A today, Nicole. You're doing great. All right. And that's just going to add a little bit of bite to it, that acid that's coming out of those peppers. If y'all want to keep this going and just kind of take these so they get kind of tender, then we'll put them in in our bowls there. And I'm going to go answer some questions. Okay? While it's popping. You can handle it, dear. I got faith in you. All right. Let's go in and we'll answer some questions for y'all real quick. And once they're done, you can put them in there. And if you want to go ahead and start with some of the others, you can go ahead and do that too. Okay.
Put your light on, sir.
Oh, lights on. Here we go. Now, we've got that going. Let me check this. Guys, I'm going to check the stream for any questions. If you got any questions, now's a great time to pop those questions in there on so far of our rib cook or on our fajitas, right? Y'all have some questions. I'm going to bring up the live. I'm going live chat and see what's going on. Okay, there you go. Steven's put a couple of links in there. If y'all will look, Cooking with Steven and Jacqueline. He's got beef fajitas on the Weber kettle, competition ribs. So there's a couple of the videos y'all might be interested in that he has posted up for y'all. He had to take off, so Steven may not be here, but thank you for doing that. I got some thumbs up. Oh, okay. And here's what Bottle Cap was talking about on the competition. You see it. And for you comp guys, a little tip here is take he says a Sharpie and use it to slightly push down on the meat between the bones. And you can kind of, there's guys that will kind of cut around that bone a little bit and push the meat down to help that pullback start. So in that competition rib, you see those bones sticking out the top. That is a good little tip. Remember, put your questions all in caps, and also uh, if you tag me in it at Texas Style, you'll see my name pop up. Click it, and it'll come up in orange. Um, so Thompson, he knows what he's cooking this weekend. Again, thank you to all my mods. I made a couple of guys mods that didn't know they were going to be. Julie, thank you for reminding them to put their questions in all caps. I'm not seeing the questions. If Chef Carlos hops back in here, we might be able to see if he's got any there.
Yes, actually, I'm receiving some of the questions directly into WhatsApp since I have a group with my boys.
Okay.
So I'm taking care of that on my own.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, if they got any questions,
actually, most of them are asking about the cilantro marinade, and I already told them that it's posted in the video on the video below. And also, some of them were asking about if you have any recommendation about the marinades in case of how much time is it the best results, or if it's in the same bag, it's the best results, or in another type of container.
You know, in the bag works great for me. I don't dirty a lot of dishes that way. So what I do is I drop them in the bag, and I like to go to 2 to 8 hours with beef. If you're doing chicken, shorter time's fine. That acid will really, especially if you're doing like chicken breast, that acid, you know, it'll really start breaking down that breast if you leave it in there too long. So usually about a 2-hour marinade is a good time for chicken. And of course, I'll use marinades. We do, you know, people call them, like I said earlier, people call fajitas anything wrapped in a flour tortilla now that's a meat. So you'll see shrimp fajitas and chicken fajitas, and which we know, you know, they don't have those things, but that's the term that's been coined, you know, for those type of tacos. And so like, especially a seafood will break down very quick. So you don't want to leave it in that marinade very long at all. But you get the flavor on it, get it out there. Otherwise, you're going to start breaking it down, and that acid is going to start cooking your seafood. But chicken, couple of hours. I wouldn't do it over 3 really on chicken, or 4. But beef overnight, nothing's wrong with that. And the acid will help make it more tender, because this is naturally a cut of meat that is not a good cut of meat, right? It's a very tough cut of meat. It definitely was a peasant dish. And if you go back and you look in the French cooking and everything, many of the fine dishes today were peasant dishes, all right? The term living high on the hog, there was a reason for that. Rich people ate high on the hog. They ate the loins. They ate the stuff on the top. The poor people ate everything down around the feet, right, and the belly. So they had to find out, how do you make those hocks taste good, right? How can you make a pig feet work? How can you make those intestines work? So a lot of the things that they did were peasant foods that we see in French cooking, we see in the Mexican cooking, and I guess every country, you know what I'm saying, that was developing foods back then. The poor people had to figure out a way to make these poor cuts of meat taste better, and how to cook them to make them there. You know, the brisket, everybody loves brisket today, but you know, brisket, I remember when I was a kid, it was, you know, 25, 30 cents a pound because nobody wanted it. You know, that's the reason people learned how to barbecue it and cook it for so long where it got tender. But it just, you know, so peasant foods have really came into the main course of what's going on. And now people, you know, they want it. You know, osobuco, right? That wasn't originally a dish that the rich ate, but then they found out, hey, these guys are figured something out, and these chefs, you know, figure out how to use these poorer cuts of meat. Because remember, these tougher muscles are muscles that got used more. They're going to have more flavor. You know, that tenderloin that's very, very tender, it is, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be that, flavorful, because it wasn't a muscle that was used a whole lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got them asking about, you don't have to use lime. If you want to not use it at all, or you want to replace it with lemon, totally fine. Like my pico de gallo, I like in my guacamole both. I use lemon in them instead of lime. I like the flavor of the lemon better in those two dishes. So I don't always use the lime. Of course, for our students in Mexico, Lemon is what you're calling your limes, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Right, but the lemons are the yellow, and you can substitute that or omit it and just use the orange juice. You're still getting that, and the vinegar is going to help break down that meat. Um, yeah, yeah.
Another student was sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to. Somebody asked about the recipe. It's going to be in the description box. It should be
Yeah.
down there now. If you look at it, the barbecue rub and the fajita marinade are down there. The only thing that isn't in there is there's a couple of limes and about a half a bunch of cilantro diced up real small. So that's what I added to it.
Oh, about there's a question about the moisture. You use mustard. Is there another recommendation that you can use? One of them were asking if they can use honey or something sweet.
If you use something sweet because of the length of period of time it's going to be on there, it would burn.
Okay.
It's the sugars in there are gonna burn on you. When we add sweetness to it, like when I add my sauces, I may sauce this one for y'all in a minute and let y'all see the sauce. You know what? I don't remember if I brought sauce today because I really hadn't planned on it. But you put the sauce on and then the sauce will set and it'll be kind of sticky, right? And it's right at the end. But if you put that sauce on or a honey on or anything like that too early, you have the chances of burning it. Like obviously in the wrap, sometimes people will put honey and sauce in the wrap. But before that, you're gonna be burning the sugars if you're not careful.
Okay. Thank you, Chef.
And again, the recipes are down below except for those two. The ribs got spritzed a couple of times, Tom. We didn't go out there and show it. I had some kids spritz them just with water. You can use water. You can use apple juice, apple cider vinegar, a mixture. I think I said yesterday on my ribs, a lot of times I use about 40%, even 45% apple juice, 45% apple cider vinegar, and that 10 to 15 to 20% of cooking oil, right? Just for a kind of that oil helps that bark stay soft and supple on there. But if you can go 40% and 20, or you can go 45% of the other two and 10, and those will work fine on those. Answer a little question there. All right, that looks good. The kids are in there cooking up the rest of the veggies. We're going to get the fajitas out of the grill or out of the refrigerator, and we're going to head to the grill and cook those up for y'all real quick. So let me switch back, and then we'll get y'all going.
Thank you, Chef.
All right. That one goes off. All right. That one goes off. That one goes on. All right.
Are you going outside?
Yes, we're gonna go outside. Y'all go ahead and head out there. What's that? Yeah, if you want to, you can. You can cook them. What are you gonna do with them, right? Put your little oil in there. Yeah. Give me the fajitas, not the ones we just marinated, the old ones. Yeah, you got to do it. Go till it clicks. That starts it. Okay. Is that the original ones? Okay. Honestly, we could probably do all of them right now and just cook them all. Yeah. I on out. Put these on. That colorful tray right there. And bring me the other. How are y'all? Again, today we have other students working. They're baking cookies for a event at the bank this week. All right, we're up over 400 degrees. So that's good on here. Just checking our ribs, see where they're at. This was our first set that got wrapped, and they're getting tender. We're going to pull these off here real quick. I can get my tongs underneath them. Oop, I just broke through.
So yeah, these are ready to come off. Or you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to open them up and I'm going to turn them over and let it kind of set the bark again. These are real soft. Let me do this. We got some bones popping through. All right. I'm going to have to play with these and see if I can. May not be able to get these tongs under them. They're pretty soft. Okay. There we go. Those are pretty. I'll let these sit here and they're going to firm up this bark on this side. All right. Put a little color on them. But they're nice and tender. They're not going to take much longer to go. Let's get on our fajitas. All right, here we go. You can see we had our first norther of the year. For y'all kids down in Cancun, you probably don't understand what a northern is. But when we get that north wind coming down and we get the cold air, and it's, I don't know, mid 60s today. So for us in Texas, that's pretty cold. But open this up. We got a pretty good heat going. That wind is affecting my ash, but I'm kind of, let's see if y'all can see here's our fajitas coming out. These have been marinating in the cold, but let's that sizzle. I'm gonna put them on the hot part of the grill. All right. And it's only about 3 or 4 minutes on each side, guys. It's not real long. Y'all can hear that sizzle. And remember, this side's a little cooler than that side. All right. We got it set up 2/3 of our charcoal, 1/3 of our charcoal. So if we need to move it off back and get it off the heat, we can do that. This marinade, really would not reuse it again because it's had raw meat in it. If you wanted to pour it on the top right now, that would be acceptable, right? We can come in here and just get us some oil on there. The last little bit of flavor. That doesn't hurt because that side is not cooked yet. No, I'm taking Jonathan. Jonathan can come around here. Okay, we'll use that for the.
Do you need another one?
What's that?
Another tray?
No, I think it'll be all right. We can take them in that one. Be all right. But again, guys, maybe 4 minutes. And so now it's kind of, I ought to be inside answering questions right now, but I got to watch these because now it's kind of a time that there's not a whole lot going on. I guess this should have been when I told the story about fajitas would be a good time, but we've got these going. With fajitas, we do not worry about the grill marks or anything like that, like we would on a steak or something. They brought me another bag out here. I'm going to go ahead and slip these on. Put them on this cooler side. We'll move them to the hotter side in a minute. Probably let the kids finish these. And I go in. See here, where are we at here? Oh, we're about 3 minutes in. Where you see the meat there is already starting to draw up some from the heat that's on there. I've got the bottom vent. It's all the way open. It should be even getting hotter. It's about 450 when we got here, so that temperature is coming up on these fajitas. That heat's gonna start pushing juice this way. Check my time here. Oh, we're about 4 minutes in. Let's flip this one over. It may not be quite as hot as I thought it was. It's still sizzling though. Oh, there we go. Some of that oil got off on that. It was lit cold. Might be glove like this one. It's in there, I think. Took too long and let my fire burn down just a little bit while I was inside. But I bet you we get through this okay. Now, I tell you what, guys, these Weber kettles are great. If you're looking for something to cook on that's versatile, you can grill on it. You can do long smokes on it. For the money, they're hard to beat. I mean, you can buy an entry-level 22-inch Weber kettle for $100, and you can do a whole lot of good cooking on there with that. We're gonna let that keep going and do that. Let's check these other ribs. Jonathan, why don't you kind of just pop the lid and just lift them up and see how tender they are for me. They're in the package. He's gonna show y'all that. I'm gonna work with these fajitas a little bit while he's showing y'all the ones we got wrapped a while ago. Should be in there, right? Just see how tender they're getting. You can use those tongs there or something. Will work.
So do you open it or?
Just pick them up and see how they are. They starting to feel tender? Are they still a little bit stiff? I got my hot gloves on now. Let's see here. See, you can see these are starting to see where we got the lid off too long. It kind of starts to flare up a little bit. But these are starting to get tender. They're going to be ready before very long. Okay, go ahead and put the lid back on, get that flame out. All right. I tell you what, the cold wind today too blowing across those, I could probably put the lid on it, would help. How many minutes we got? That's 4 minutes, but I can tell you they're not quite done. I'm gonna cover it up. Let's go back up here and you can go on me. So anyways, guys, just as the cold wind blowing across that was making it real tough. Normally about 4 minutes on each side. If you've got a good heat going, when I lifted that up, our heat dropped from 450 and we're trying to let it get back up with the lid on there. So that's the thing I was telling y'all yesterday about barbecue and the challenge. It's not like putting something in the oven where, you know, hey, this is 2 hours at 325 degrees and it's done. Every piece of meat is different. Every cook is different. We talked about the weather being different, right? We got a cold north wind blowing right now, right into that pit. So with the lid off, it was causing problems. So you just got to remember, hey, this is a challenge. Even when it's a short 10-minute cook, then it still is a challenge to get this done with barbecue, because you're dealing with live fire, you're dealing with different cuts of meat, you're dealing with your weather, you're dealing with every different barbecue pit, and every day, even multiple cooks in the same day can be different because of all the variables that are out there. But it makes it so exciting. Yeah, if you look, our pit dropped down to, man, it's about 250 right now. So it when I put the lid back on, that's how cool it had gotten over there. So putting the lid on was smart. I'm going to check it in about another 2 minutes, and those may be ready to come off. I may check a temp on them just to make sure, but in my camouflage knife bag, there's a red thermometer. Bring that red thermometer in here. So we may do that just to make sure. You want your fajitas to be really a medium rare to medium. You don't want to go past that. They're good. The more they cook, the tougher they're going to get. So it's just going to keep getting tougher and tougher. But that medium rare to medium is definitely the place to have your fajitas at. When we pull those off, I'm going to leave one out here with one more piece of fajita or flank steak, or not flank steak, excuse me, skirt steak. I've heard trained cooks, talk about fajitas and interchange skirt steak and flank steak. And no, guys, a flank steak and a skirt steak is not the same thing. Close to being the same position, but they're two different cuts of meat. So understand this. This is not a flank steak. This is a skirt steak. And we don't want to make that difference or confuse it. She handed me her finger was in the hole when I grabbed it. So that's why you heard the owl real loud there. But let's kind of check these. The temp's coming up a little bit in this pit. They're going to get a little smokier, right? We're going to check these and kind of check an internal temp. This is a good little, I tell you, these are very affordable. See, we're 129. So we got a little bit further to go on these yet. Yeah, they're still cool. We just lost that pent tip. The smaller ones are getting there. I can get those off probably real quick. They're not going to be as pretty as I would like them because of they didn't get that high heat on them. But they're going to be cooked. And I do not want to overcook them. But you can tell these that were on that back side are getting darker faster than the one that was toward the middle. I'm going to try to do is, let's do this. Put it there. And I got a little piece now I can slip on. You see the oil that's dripping off of these because of the olive oil in there. We're getting little spikes of flare up. That's good, man. That's going to put a little flavor. You get that aroma from everything, your moisture of your meat dripping down onto your fire, plus the marinades. When it hits it, you're getting that steam back up on your meat, and you're just multiplying your flavor. We talked yesterday about layering flavors. This is another way that we layer flavors is by the steam that's coming up off of your fire. It is layering flavors for you and getting everything hotter and hotter and hotter. Let's see where we're at here. We ought to be getting close on these. They're not as dark on the outside as I would like them, but they're going to have to work because we're just the time essence today and what we're doing. I could even take these in and I could sear them off in the pan if I wanted to, right? To get that color. Right now is the time I wish I could get a flare up, right? Normally you get flare ups all the time. Well, I could use one right now. I'd put it on and off of them real quick just to sear this outside a little bit. Yeah, that's what I need. That would work. Add fuel to the fire without a doubt. And I tell you what, actually, we laugh, but marinades. I do have a tequila marinated chicken that's on my channel that we made tacos out of. It was very good. So I do have a tequila marinade for y'all students down in Cancun. If that's something y'all might be interested in, you can find that on my channel. And I think tequila's in the title. So if you search the channel and search tequila, you should be able to find it. Oh yeah, these are starting to brown some finely. They're gonna be a little more cooked than I want them, but they're gonna be all right. And remember carryover cooking, guys, right? Your carryover cooking is your cooking that happens after they come off the fire. Who's got the time?
11:30, sir.
11:30. All right, we're getting close to being done. See if we can knock all this out by 12 o'clock, like we said. All right, I'm going to bring these off. And we can make some tacos. Let that last one go a little bit. All right. And get out all the guacamole, the pico de gallo, and the salsa, right? And some spoons for me. All right, guys, we're going to take this last one off. Ooh, you tell my fire's starting to get hot again. We added a little bit more of that lumberjack to it, and it's starting to pick up. But that's what I want to hear and what I want to see. I waited too long, and the coldness had set in on us with that. But this batch is getting cooked much faster because our heat's coming back up. When you have that flame underneath, that's why I keep turning them real often. The flame will burn them if we're not careful. So I keep going and flipping them so we don't have that problem. These are starting to come up. I may leave someone in charge. Oh no, those inside where we're gonna make the tacos at. Juan was, Jonathan was bringing the guacamole and everything out here, but we're gonna make those inside. I don't make a pretty. With this camera here, you get a real pretty picture right there. How you like that? Flames always make a good picture.
Perfect.
How did I know that, right? You'd think I did this before. That new charcoal's catching fire. Yeah, well, see that the way I could have turned the whole thing, the whole setup. That one's good. These are going to cook in the 4 minutes aside, right? Like those others should have. What's that? They're in the refrigerator.
I look, there's nothing in it.
Well, yeah, I bought 40 of them. They were on the top shelf. All right, these are about done. Getting a little bit of color on them, not totally the color I wanted, but they're looking all right. And the neat thing about a Weber kettle is if you in any pit, they're using the UDSs and these, you can shut all the air off. So if I turn off this bottom and turn off the top, the charcoal we didn't use is there for the next cook. And that always comes in handy on saving costs. So you just don't burn it down all the time. That's looking prettier. And really now they're cooked. I'm just trying to add color. They're cooked way enough. I'm just trying to get some color on them. So that's all we're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this. So the bottom air is turned off. And all I'm gonna do now is get this top piece going a little bit, and I'll shut the vent when I close it. All right, we're gonna call that cooked. No, go ahead. Let me do this for you. Right.
Tilt it up just a little, chef. Can you just do a little tip
Yeah.
for her? There we go.
Thank you.
Very nice. Get his hands in the pot.
Thank you.
All right. All right, we're heading back inside, guys. Find them. Yeah, get them hot real fast.
Okay, who needs butter?
They were.
Yeah, did you leave us?
Someone must have moved them over there. Hey, guys. I need a white cutting board, please.
That one, with the single one.
Go ahead and let's sit these over there out of the way.
Can I move this?
Yeah, we're going to use it here in just a second, but why don't you move it that direction? You going to wipe down? Oh, you bring me my cutting board? That'll work. All right, guys, we're going to do a classic kind of Texas presentation for y'all on these fajitas. I'll show you how we slice them. And then we'll go. And this is the important thing about a slicing a fajita, which many people get wrong. Remember what I said, it's a long, thin belt. So your natural instincts, right? Let's see. Get that one. Your natural instincts is to cut it like this, right? The skinny side. That's your natural way you'd want to cut it. But that's not across the grain. Remember, anytime, especially a tough meat, we always want to cut across the grain. The grains on a fajita or a skirt steak are running the short distance. So therefore, you want to cut it this way to get across the grain so it's more tender. So what all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, right there, and right there. And now I can cut some short pieces across the grain. Now these were tenderized, so that's going to help. But if you, especially if they're not tenderized, do not go the short distance. You go the long distance. Again, here we are. They went all the way to medium. I would have rather had a medium rare, but we had to leave them on there to get the color we wanted. Guys, we're going like this right here. Again, turn it so we're cutting across the grain, always across the grain. And don't forget, stick around here because after we make these tacos, we're going to make, we're going to bring out some ribs, right? We're going to have some ribs for y'all. So short pair of tongs, guys. I'm gonna need some short tongs. Break those out of there for me. Put them on a plate if you would. All right, so that's classic there. Let me check my. Oh yeah, that's getting hot. All right, let me go ahead and open these up. We've got a pico de gallo, which is a classic, right? Onion, tomato, cilantro, lime or lemon juice, salt, pepper, garlic. And again, we want that Mexican flag color is what we look for. So we're looking for the reds, the greens, and the whites. So I use a white onion, not a yellow onion, because I want that white Mexican flag look, right? All right, got some spoons here. We're about ready to get started. This is a traditional, we call them fajita skillets, right? It should be hot enough by now. And I'm gonna take some of my peppers. Why we call these sizzling fajitas when they come out, right? Let's put some color ones on there. Let's get a red one. Here, start putting some meat on. There's our medium rare we were looking for a while ago, right? But this is going to be the table presentation. And it will come to the table, usually like a wooden, they'll have a little wooden platform that it sits on, plate, like a wooden plate. But to heat these up. Sometimes some places do not saute their vegetables first. They put them on there raw and just let the very, very hot fajita pan heat them up. But I don't like to do it that way. I like to saute mine first. I like them a little bit more tender. All right. Get some color in there. And one thing I forgot I was going to do for y'all is another presentation is they'll put a grilled jalapeno or a grilled serrano on there. I was going to do that when we went outside, and I forgot to grab those a while ago, but they will put that on there. But that's the way you would receive this dish at your table, just like this. I want to put it there, guys. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to move this out of my way. Hand me just one of our plates, guys. That I can. You know what? See the blue ones right there? Do one of those. That'll be very colorful. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to use one of these colorful plates today to make up some tacos for y'all. Turn my side burner off. Y'all can hear, boy, that is still sizzling. Got some tortillas. And these would be served also with a side of rice, and usually borracho beans or refrieds if you want refrieds. But usually they're going to come with the borracho beans is what you're going to see traditional with these. But I'm going to take my tortilla. All right. Give me some of my fajita in there. And then I like to go next with my guacamole. Okay. Nice spreading the guacamole on them. From there, I'm going to do salsa camada. I do have this recipe. I have the recipe for guacamole, pico de gallo, and this salsa camada. It's a roasted tomato and jalapeno salsa. Not everybody puts that extra layer of salsa, but I like that. And now some of our colorful pico de gallo on there. Get some tomato. But that would be a classic fajita taco right there. Make another one real quick. You gotta do that where it'll stay up for y'all. Y'all like that better? Oh, you know what I forgot? Golly. My peppers. Put a red pepper in there. One of my orange ones. And let's get some onion, some grilled onion. There we go. About forgot that. Got ahead of myself. Meat. This one's got this. Yeah, pull that. I'm gonna give me an orange. Give me some grilled onion. Oh, that was hot. Watch out. Let me find some onion. Didn't get enough onion on my tray. Here we go. Some more onion. guacamole. Nicole worked hard on this guacamole this morning. Salsa camada. And some beautiful red, green, and white pico de gallo. So again, tomato, onion, cilantro, jalapeno, and another pretty taco for y'all. You want to get a picture of that, guys? All right, here we go. Taste time, right? Everybody needs the taste. I'm not supposed to be eating tortillas. Don't tell my wife this, all right? Hopefully she's not watching. We're going to give it a try. Very, very good. You get the sweetness of those peppers that are on there, a little bit of kick from your pico and the salsa camada. The meat, if you notice, if you don't cut your meat the right way, you bite that fajita taco and you pull it away, all your meat comes out and all you're left is holding your tortilla and your salsa and your guacamole, right? Pull it out. Cut it the right direction. Marinate it. That will help with the tenderness. If you can buy some that are already tenderized, that's always good also. But, hey, a great classic Texas version of carne asada, right? Tacos, but this is kind of the way we do it here in Texas. And it was really kind of the term fajita was originated right here around San Antonio. But the meat looks good. Y'all can see that. This one was medium rare, like I like it. All right, we're going to zoom in here. Can y'all see the big pinkness in there? Okay, that looks really good. What I'm going to do real quick now is, we're getting close to 12 o'clock. I'm going to answer a couple of questions, and then we're going to bring in the ribs and show y'all the ribs. Okay, I've got 15 minutes to show the ribs. If y'all would, let's move these kind of to the side for right now, and then we'll bring in the ribs. If you want to get the rib that's in the red that's already wrapped, long tongs, take a white tray out. Y'all can go ahead and bring those in. They'll be ready to slice. Okay. What's that? Yeah.
No, he wasn't not here to help, so no. No.
Okay, Elias, let me get in here. All right, guys, I'm back in here. They're arguing who's going to get the last half of my taco in there.
All right, here we go. I'm back. We can see me. Let me open up the actual chat.
Welcome back, Chef.
I'm looking for any questions. If we have any questions now, Chef Carlos, if you have something to ask me
on my
your
personal
end,
chat, there's
if not, the kids are pulling the ribs off the pit, and we are going to. Boy, you see how messy my desk is, can't you? I should have cleaned that off this morning. I see someone asking about salsa camada. Just that's a roasted tomatoes, roasted peppers.
Oh,
let me do this. I got to bring up my sound,
sorry?
Chef Carlos. I didn't hear you. Oh, you know why? Here it is. You're on the
Okay.
You're on the earphone.
Okay, welcome back.
Yeah, good to be here. We are cooking spare ribs today. I see that's going. Joe, thank you. That's a good job. Chef, do you have some questions?
On my chat, there's nothing yet. I was checking around and I'll answer some of the things you already said. There was one extra question about when is the right time or the perfect timing for wrapping up? Yeah.
For wrapping up, I do mind the color. When they look the right color, that's when I wrap those ribs. So I want that nice mahogany color, and I want that the bark to kind of be set. You don't want, if you scratch it, if y'all saw me, I scratched it a little bit, and it kind of wanted to stay in place. If you do that and it's all wiping off, it's not time yet. But usually, I showed y'all, like, if see if we can get this so we can see. What happens is if this is right, when they're stiff, that's cooked when you're holding them in the middle. If they're somewhere like right here, that's a that's a good time. Or you see the bones starting to pull off the bones a little bit. I'll wrap around that time, and when I pull them out, if you hold them up, they're going to be pointing to the ground when you grab them in the middle with tongs. But I usually wrap with all my meats to color. When it looks right, I kind of know, hey,
Okay, nice.
that's the time to wrap.
And if the times and the colors are equal in any kind of ribs, even if it's pork or beef or anything?
Uh, well, no, you're going to cook beef
Okay.
ribs like you cook a brisket. All right. So, you cook beef ribs like a brisket. So when it looks right, wrap it. But I always tell everybody to ask me about those, especially the big, what we call dino ribs up here. Or if y'all do the full short ribs, right?
Okay.
I cook them like I cook a brisket. And that's the best advice I can give on cooking beef ribs. Pork ribs are different; they're much smaller, much thinner. I cook my baby backs a lot like I cook my spares. Baby backs don't have a lot of fat, so if you leave them wrapped very long, you're going to render a lot of the moisture out of them. So you got to
Okay.
be careful wrapping baby back ribs.
So it actually will be very different depending on the selected meat, even if it's the ribs. Okay.
Right. Okay, let's see here. I'm looking up through the YouTube itself. I'm not seeing any new questions, so I think the kids have the ribs in there. I'm a lot louder. Somebody's telling me I'm a whole lot louder, so I'll get Elias may need to cut me down a little bit and get me from being too loud while I'm in here. But anyways, I'm gonna go in there. I think they have the ribs out, and we'll look at the ribs, cut those, do a sample of those. We'll talk about saucing them, which I didn't do today, and then from there we'll shut this down and do a little short Q&A after that. But I'm gonna head in there
Thank you,
now,
Chef.
and we'll cut up the ribs. All right.
And we'll cut up the ribs. All right. Okay. Elias, here you go. They said that one of them is almost over now, but it was real loud. So if we want to cut my volume back, right, you can always come to the screen on the left and do the volume. I just cut it to about halfway, right? If somebody says that, just to let you know. All right. Hey guys, that's just learning, right? Teaching these kids while we're doing this. Right. Here, I'll do it. I'll take it off. And that way they can see me take it off. All right. You didn't eat it? No. Okay, we good? All right, guys. These ribs, if you look at these ribs, here you go. They're tender. You're going to have to get that tongs way up underneath them to pick them up. Had a bone come out. So they're very, very tender. Fall off the bone is really not the way you want them. You want them a little bit less that where you take a clean bite. But most people really think that's the way a rib's supposed to be cooked. But when they fall off the bone, they are a little bit overcooked. This is the time that I would sauce my ribs. So what I would do is I would sauce them. I'd put it on a warm sauce, brush it where it's kind of thin. I'd put them back on for maybe 10 minutes and let the sauce set. But we are not saucing today. So let's see if we can cut these. All right. These are tender. I can tell you that. I just looking between the bones and try to get them cut in half. I hit a bone right there. There we go. In half. And y'all saw they were kind of wet when we looked at it a while ago, but this really dried up by letting them sit back on the pit, for another 20, 30 minutes. It dried that bark up. Made a nice bark. Let's take a rib out here. I can kind of see there. There's a rib, another rib. But if we look, you can see our smoke ring, all right? Which remember I told y'all yesterday has nothing to do with smoke. It's the nitrates and nitrites penetrating into it. But that's a nice looking rib. We're gonna take a taste test here in a second. And again, this is my rub. You can get that rub in the description box below. Any of my chicken or pork videos it's on. So let's these are pretty hot. See if I can take a taste test. They may not letting them sit for a little while would be a good idea, but we're getting low on time, so I'm gonna take a bite of this one. And if you'll look, see how it left an imprint of my bite and it didn't pull off the bone when I did it? That's what you want to see, okay? You want to see where when you take that bite, it bites clean and it does not all the other meat pull with it. That's ideally a good, this one was almost too soft, but it came out. You can see the bite. All right, it's got a good flavor. It's nice. It's got good smoke on it. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with this rib at all. It's worth a second bite. And the students are ready to eat. They're all lining up for a rib. We got 2 more racks of ribs on there because we kind of did like we did yesterday. I had one raw, one halfway through, and one all the way through, right, for y'all. So we got those other 2 racks on there that'll be off pretty quick. But again, it's a pretty rib. Nothing wrong with it. Few details. Classic Texas spare rib. So I think it was a great presentation, kids. Y'all start getting your questions in the chat. If you have questions to end this up, the fajitas, right? So we did classic fajitas. We did ribs today. Yesterday was brisket. If you missed the brisket video, make sure you get on there. Thanks to our broadcast journalism class. I don't know what the official title of that is. Miss McGurr and her kids that came over here and they ran my camera. They got pictures up here. They ran the sound. And for my kids today that were in here with me yesterday and today, they've worked a lot getting this presentation ready for the students at UT Cancun. And kids, y'all enjoy y'all's culinary career and your battle of becoming chefs in the hospitality industry, whatever it may be. It's well worth it. And we need hospitality people in San Antonio all the time. Big opportunity for jobs. That's why I'm out here in Lotto teaching now, is because people are realizing that, hey, you don't have to go to a 4-year college or longer to get a good job. And there's great jobs in hotel and motel business, in the hospitality and restaurants, running restaurants, cooking in restaurants, and entertaining people. It's a great business to be in. I love it. I think y'all are going to like it too. Your chefs, I've known Chef Benjamin now for about 4 or 5 years. Just got to meet Chef Diego and Chef Carlos, but great guys. Maybe some days I can make it down to Cancun and see y'all in person down there. But I'm going to run back in. We're going to see if there's any questions, and then we're going to shut this down and get going. But I hope y'all enjoyed this presentation of the Art of Texas BBQ, spare ribs, and a bonus fajita dish. Let's go back and see if there's any more questions. Hey, Jonathan, you might check the ribs on the gray pit. If you kind of get them, they're real soft, go ahead and they're ready. Go ahead and pull them off. And we might, if those others are ready to wrap, let's go ahead and wrap them and put them back on in the red pit.
Okay. Very well, Chef. Now that you are already seated and going through, first of all, of course, you are very well invited here to Cancun, so you can do a nice presentation when you come here, and also we are going to give you a big presentation. Also, on behalf of the Technological University of Cancun and also of our director, Chef Benjamin Nava, I would like to thank you a lot because this was really awesome. All the students are extasiated because of the presentation and have a bigger picture of it. All your enthusiasm and presentation, very, thank you so much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. My students have had a great time doing this. It's been a wonderful learning experience for them. So that's just
Thank
Oh,
you. It was my pleasure. My
hold on.
students have
I'm
had a
getting
great time doing this.
Yes, don't
It's
worry.
been a
I
wonderful
gotta
learning
turn off that
experience
other
for
one.
them. So that's, that's just total. Oop, hold on. I'm getting, I got to turn off that other one.
I'm getting feedback.
Switch back.
Okay, it should be good
I'm
now.
getting feedback.
I was hearing myself twice. Okay, so anyways,
Okay, it
hey,
should be good now. I
it
was
was.
hearing myself twice.
Oh, you know what? Here we go. Here, I know what the problem is. Let me do
Okay,
this.
so anyways, hey, it was. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Here, I know what the problem is. Let me do this.
Okay, I think I've got it now. I've got everything turned off but this one. So I
Okay.
shouldn't have to hear myself talking like that now.
Okay,
That one,
I think I've got it now. I've got everything turned off, but
There
that's
you go.
it. There we go. Hey, that's much better. Much better. I had to find the right one. Everyone I was punching was not letting. There was one window open that still had me in there. But no, it's our pleasure. Our kids have had a fun time. They've enjoyed it. I hope y'all got plenty out of it. Our broadcast journalism kids got a great chance to film a live, two live shows. So it was great for them. And hey, in the best way, and I was for your students to support me, to watch my videos, and share them with your friends. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribing, liking it, but the top thing is sharing and watching. So don't watch those videos. Always leave me comments. Tell me you're from UT Cancun, so I know that. And I think I gave out my emails yesterday, Texas Style Cuisine at gmail.com. You can send questions there. I answer every question unless I just overlook it. But I answer every question that's left posted up on one of my videos.
Thank you so much, Chef. And I'm quite sure that most of my students will get in touch either by mail or directly into the YouTube platform.
Yes, sir. All right, Chef Carlos, it was great to meet you. Tell Chef Benjamin, I can't wait to see him again. I need to get down there for one of his mezcal lessons, right? And do that. And Chef Diego, it was wonderful visiting with y'all and chatting with y'all. And I'm sure we're going to do this again.
Hopefully, and maybe next time it will be the other way around.
Yes, sir. That would be great. We'll let y'all teach us a little bit. Okay,
Of course.
thanks a lot. Hey, and everybody else, all my regular guys that's here, and my people that just happen to drop in and stumble upon us doing this today. Hey, thank y'all for being here. A lot of my people, Smoking Joe, Bottle Cap, C-Mac was in here. Greg from Ballistic Barbecue. Greg's got over 300,000 viewers on YouTube. So it's very nice for him to drop in, guys. He does. He's just started a new channel called Ballistic Hamburger, I think, or Ballistic Burgers. But he has two channels now. But his main Ballistic Barbecue is over 300,000 people. Wonderful guy. I see the chats going, people saying things. But thank y'all very much. We're fixing to shut this down. Chef Carlos, again, it was wonderful to meet you. Thank you for the opportunity. And we're going to do
Likewise.
this again, and maybe backwards. Everyone else, hey, thanks for stopping by Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine. Seeing what's going on with these young chefs, high school and college chefs that's going on here. It's mine and Chef Carlos's pleasure to be teaching them and sharing the love we have for cooking with all these students that we get to teach. But hey, everyone have a great day, and we'll see y'all down the road on Texas Style Barbecue and Cuisine. Goodbye, everybody.